morning everyone, and welcome to ReinaMoe's DIY and It Designs. Today we're going to be working on a piece of wall art. Now I know yesterday I said I was going to work with these flowers that I have over here, but the buds are still a little too tight. So I'm going to try again tomorrow with doing a floral arrangement with the fresh roses. Hopefully the white ones are opening up pretty good, but the beautiful pink ones, they're still very tight. A couple of them have opened up really well, so I'm just gonna trim those off again, remix my plant food water and transfer those into a fresh vase with warm water, because the warm water really helps them to open up. But the white ones, they're just where I need them to be. They're actually more of a blushy tone. They're right where I need them to be, but the pink ones are not, so I'm going to give them an extra day to rehydrate and get to where I need them. So today we're going to work on a piece of art and I keep saying a piece of art, well really it's a picture frame. But you know, art comes in so many different shapes and forms. So that's our goal today, is to have a very nice DIY that's a picture frame that's hanging. And what we're going to use as our main part of that is this potpourri vessel from none other than Dollar Tree. So I'm going to utilize this heart-shaped vessel, and I have a picture of me and my loved one that I'm going to be putting inside this vessel. You're going to need picture hanging kit, which I got this from our good old Dollar Tree. Our Dollar Tree also had this cardstock. It's linen cardstock with the pearl finish. I picked it up in a multiple colors that they had, and I'm going to use this as a backing for the photo. I'm going to need a pencil, trusty hot glue gun. I'm going to use some satin ribbon because this is what I have. And it's 2.5-inch ribbon. 2-inch ribbon would be perfect, but I'm going to go ahead and use this because it's what I have. Of course, I have my scissors, and I have my trusty South wire nippers because I'm going to utilize some flowers, some faux flowers, either these here or these here. And I think it's probably going to be these here with more or less the hydrangea, just as a filler. So, if this tutorial interests you so far, please keep watching. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my linen cardstock and take out one sheet. It's 12 sheets that actually come in. And it really is a beautiful linen look and pearlized finish. I didn't notice that it was a pearlized finish because you can't really see it through the paper. I mean through the plastic, but it says that it had a pearl finish on that. So I'm just going to take this and decide one side is smoother than the other. I want this cardstock to show because it's very pretty, and on my walls it's going to blend in really nicely. So I'm going to use this to where it's going longitudinally, and I'm going to use the vessel to trace over it just to give it a shape. So it should look like this. Next, I'm going to do the same thing with the photo, but obviously since the cardstock is going to be the backing of the photo, it's going to have to fit inside this traced heart how I want it centered. And then I'm going to flip it over on the back and actually draw the heart that I want to use, because I want this photo to come through on this this linen. So we'll make this, basically this will be like a mat for our photo. It's not going to be perfect, but it'll be perfect enough because I am doing this freehand and just tracing along, giving it about 1/2 inch space and making it rounded. So here you see that I have a heart within a heart, and basically I'm an eye on the back. So I was going to use scissors, but it's smarter to actually use my X-Acto knife. So that's what I'll be doing, and when I come back, I'll show you how the mat looks. Okay, so here's our mat. Now I wanted to show you something. This paper, it says that it is 25 gram paper, which tells you what the weight and the thickness of the paper is, and it's pretty thick. When I made my initial slice into the center with my X-Acto knife, I had to go over it 2 times because of the thickness of this paper. So basically I just cut a slit right here into the paper with the X-Acto knife, and then I went in with the blades of my scissors and I actually cut out, as you can see, in a circular motion. I just went around until I cut the heart completely out the way that I wanted it. So now that I have this, here is my heart. And what I'm going to do, because I really want to use this side of the paper, although this smooth side is really, really nice, if you want to use the rougher side of the paper, do your tracing of the vessel on the opposite side, which is what I should have did and I didn't. So instead of taking a razor to this paper because I think it will smudge, I'm just going to go ahead and use this side, which is still very pretty because the pearlescence of it is on both sides. It's not one-sided. So now that I have this, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fix the picture of my Boo Bear and I here into the center. And I'm not worried about this on the outside because remember, we have this heart for scrap paper that we can use to cover up anything that shows. So what you want to do is center it as best you can. And once you have it centered, we're going to use double-sided tape, and we're going to affix the heart mat onto the photo. Okay, so as you can see, I have already affixed the paper, the mat that I've created onto our photo, and what I'm going to do is grab the other papers that I got from the Dollar Tree that were in this packet, and I'm going to use one as a backing for the back to cover this dead space. And when I come back, I'll show you which packet I chose. Okay, so here's the packet that I chose, and just to let you know, all of these in here are the same linen color and they have the pearl finish. All 12 of these are different colors, as you can see here, and they also have a pearl finish. I also got the cardstock in white with the pearl finish. I picked up an extra one in linen. And then here's one that's more muted tones that still have the pearl finish. But I'm going to use the blue. And when I go back to Dollar Tree, if they have any more, I'm going to get more because this is a very, very good price for some nice cardstock. So again, I'm going to choose between the smooth and the textured side. And I think I'm going to use the textured side. And then you will go ahead and put some pieces of tape all around the back of the picture so that you can securely adhere the back of the card to the back of the photo. Okay, so this is what it looks like. And the next step is to go ahead and I'm going to be adding a little bit of ribbon around here to just bring the colors together. Dollar Tree vessels, even though they look like they're even all the way around, they tend to have a graduated, they graduate down, they slope down. So if I cut it by just cutting out along through here, it will fit all the way down at the base of the vessel, but I want it to be elevated a little bit, so I need to cut it a little bigger. So for that, I'm going to just turn the vessel upside down and use the front part of the vessel, make another tracing of a heart, and go ahead and cut that out. And when I come back, I'll show you how it looks. So see, from here you can see just how much of a graduation decline there is from the top opening of this vessel to the actual bottom base of it. So even though these vessels don't look like it, they flute upwards like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and now use my scissors and cut out the shape of the heart. So now I've gone ahead and I've cut out my heart as best I can to actually fit inside the vessel. And as you can see, it's fitting in there in a slope, but that's okay, because how I'm gonna fix that is a good old-fashioned toilet paper roll. You can use a paper towel roll, you can use the roll from the inside of paper gift wrap. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make measurements and cut these in 1-inch increments. And then I'm gonna glue them to the base of the vessel on the inside so that the picture has something to rest on. And the picture is gonna have a 3D effect. So I can get 3 cuts from this. I'm just going to kind of mash the toilet paper roll, and where I made my mark, just cut straight. One. Cut it as straight as you possibly can. So I'm going to fold it on the marks. That first one was off a little bit. So now I have little rings that I will use to hot glue to the back of the picture to give it a little bit of height. And it's going to rest down in the vessel. So I'm just going to go ahead and hot glue this, and when I come back I'll show you how it looks. Okay, so I've affixed the toilet paper rings to the back of the heart. Now I'm placing it inside of the vessel, and you can see that it fits and it's jutted out in a 3D effect. So the next thing I'm going to do is actually glue it to the inside of the vessel. And now that it's glued to the inside of the vessel, I can go ahead and start working on the affixing the attachments to the back of the frame, the now heart frame, and then work on covering the sides with the ribbon. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my picture hanging kit. Oh, is that easy to open? Almost. What I'm going to take out of there are these little picture hanging hooks, as well as the wire. And make sure your hooks are the same size, because sometimes they're different sizes. So I'm going to use the picture hanging wire as well as the picture hanging hooks. So the next thing you want to do is get your glue ready, whether you're going to use hot glue, epoxy, or if you're going to use E6000 or an adhesive like this, which is like E6000, to go ahead and affix your hooks onto the back of your vessel. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to affix these hooks on the back of the vessel. And the reason that I'm going to do these hooks like this, let me see if I can show you. I'll affix it like this on either side because I'm going to run picture hanging wire between the two so that we can hang it on the wall. This epoxy, which is from Basic, which you find at King Dollar. I bought this at Epic Dollar. That store is my new favorite store. Matter of fact, this weekend I'm going to make a run there. So it's similar to Gorilla Glue and how it's set up because it gives you the little cap that you can use to keep it, even though it says it's a single-use epoxy. You could get more than one use out of this. So this one, unlike the Gorilla Glue that you can just pop off, you possibly could, but I'm really not all that strong. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut the little cap off, and then I'm going to basically burp the container of epoxy with side A and side B because there's air in here and you have to get the air out. And at the same time when you're getting the air out, you have to be careful not to push out any of part A or part B. They need to come out at the same time because if you use more of one than the other, I think that it doesn't set as quickly or as nicely as it should because it's a 1-to-1 ratio in use. So that's one. And here's the other. So now I have my cap, which I'm going to set right here. And I'm going to slowly pull on the plunger. I'm pulling it back a little bit, but that's the nurse in me. We're taught to aspirate first before we plunge a syringe. So I'm just pulling in a little bit of air, and then I am pushing in the middle. You can see that right here in the middle to burp the bottle. I also learned that in cosmetology when I was in high school. Do falsy nails. The latest craze back then was, Tammy Taylor nails, and then there was this one group of nails that was called back scratcher nails, and with those you had to burp the bottom because it was an epoxy type nail system. So I'm just pushing it really, really slow because I don't want to squirt out all of the product. And it is hard to push. Okay, there we go. Slow, steady pressure, and it's moving a little bit. Oh, you know what? There's a little safety gauge right here in the center. That's why I was having such trouble. So I've got to pop out that little safety gauge that's in the center. So now I have removed the little safety guard that they had in here. So now I can actually push the plunger without difficulty. Just being mindful and careful that they both have to come out at the same time. So you want to burp out all of that air. And now we're getting close. One side wants to come out before the other. Push them slowly together. Okay, so here we go. For some reason, one side is coming out before the other. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and exude that out. Now that both of them are there, I'm going to go ahead and squeeze out how much I think I'm going to need, which is not much to adhere the two hear the two clips for the picture hanging hooks. And then I'm just gonna mix. So we mix this for 30 seconds and it's been that. I don't know if y'all could tell, but it's getting a little bit ropey, and that's how I know that the consistency is right for me to go ahead and start using it. I just want to make absolute sure that everything is mixed appropriately. So all I'm going to do is just have a little bit of the epoxy on the back of the metal, and then I'm going to affix it to the back of the heart, and then I'm just going to wait. And the same thing here. And the epoxy does set kind of fast, so you want to work kind of fast with it. It takes a little bit more time for the epoxy to set than hot glue, obviously, but they're kind of along the same family. So I have placed the two metal hooks on the back, and now I'm just going to wait for them to dry. Okay, so now that I have affixed the hooks on the back of the vessel, I don't know if y'all can see that, but look how that epoxy sets. It sets beautifully. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out some of the picture hanging wire, and then with my handy dandy snips, I'm going to go ahead and cut that. And then what I'm going to do, you can look at the hooks. There's a little hole here at the bottom. I'm going to run the wire through the hole and up over the top on both sides and secure it. Okay, so what I've done is I have run the wire through the hole that's under the clip here, and I'm basically making a slip knot that I'm going to run that through and tighten. And the epoxy is real strong, real strong. So I'm making it as tight as I possibly can, the picture hanging wire. And then I'm just going to run it back through. The hook, and now what I'm going to do is just twist it around itself, and then we'll have a wire that we can use to hang our picture on the wall. Now they have a different kind of picture hook, which I wish this package had, that's smaller, but you work with what you have. So here we go, and we can hang this picture now on the wall where it's going to be flush, but we'll have a 3D effect. And now I'm going to decorate with a little bit of florals. So what I'm going to do is use a little bit of blue for boy, and a little bit of pink for girl, and some white to just spruce it up. And I'm going to just take them off of their stems and play with them a little bit to fluff them up and decide where I want to place them. And they're going to be glued along the side of the actual vessel, because we're going to run ribbon as our last thing across the sides of the vessel. So here I'm just going and placing my flowers strategically where I would like them placed. And when I come back, I'll show you how it looks. So now I've affixed just a handful of flowers to the inner corner of the picture frame. So now I'm going to go ahead and go around the vessel with this black ribbon, and I'm going to use this hot glue gun in order to do that. And when I come back, I'll show you the final look. I have fixed the ribbon all the way around the vessel. This is the final look. And you can see I had to add a little bit of a lighting element in there. I just took the little capsule lights that I got off of Amazon and just stuck it in there to give a little bit of light. You could also use the submersible lights, but I just think the little capsule light looks better. But you be the judge. Which of the two do you like better? The submersible light, traditional submersible light, or the little light capsule? Let me know in the comments down below. And so I really hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and share. Definitely comment down below. And have a wonderful evening. Bye.